Did you know there is one single tool that can bring your blood sugar down faster and more reliably than almost anything else out there? And I am not talking about a pill, a powder, or an expensive supplement that you have to order online. This is something you can start using today, right now, with what you already have access to. And if you have prediabetes, type 1 diabetes, or type 2 diabetes, this is one of the most important things you will ever hear about managing your condition. That tool is improving your insulin sensitivity. And in this video, I am going to walk you through 7 proven ways to do exactly that. Stay with me until the end, because every single one of these matters, and together they can genuinely change your numbers. If you have been dealing with blood sugar issues and you feel like nothing is really working the way it should, drop a comment below right now and let me know. I read every single one, and you might be surprised how many people are going through the exact same thing. Now, before we get into the tips, let me explain why insulin sensitivity is so important, because once you understand this, everything else is going to make a lot more sense. Your pancreas produces a hormone called insulin. Think of insulin like a key and your cells like locked doors. Every time you eat something, whether it is a piece of bread, a banana, or a bowl of oatmeal, your blood sugar rises. Insulin is supposed to act like the key that unlocks your cells so the sugar can get inside and be used for energy. When your body is sensitive to insulin, this process works beautifully. The key goes in, the door opens, the sugar enters your cells, and your blood sugar comes back down to a normal level fairly quickly after you eat. But here is where things go wrong for millions of people. When your body becomes resistant to insulin, it is like that key has gotten bent or worn down. It goes into the lock, but it does not turn properly. The door does not open the way it should, so the sugar ends up staying in your bloodstream instead of getting into your cells where it belongs. And your poor pancreas, trying to fix the problem, starts pumping out more and more insulin to compensate. Over time, the pancreas gets exhausted from all that extra work, and when it can no longer keep up, your blood sugar stays elevated. First you become pre-diabetic, then, if nothing changes, fully diabetic. Here is a number that might surprise you. Roughly 70% of people who are obese have some degree of insulin resistance. But it is not just a weight issue. Nearly half of people who are simply overweight have it. And even 20% of people who appear to be at a healthy weight are dealing with it too. This is far more common than most people realize. The good news is, no matter where you are right now, your body has an incredible ability to respond when you give it the right conditions. These 7 tips are those conditions. Number 7, get better sleep. Most people do not connect their sleep to their blood sugar, but the research on this is some of the most compelling out there. Even a single night of poor sleep can significantly increase your insulin resistance. Just one night. Your body becomes more inflamed, your stress hormones rise, and your cells become less responsive to insulin almost immediately. And here is the thing that a lot of people do not realize. You can think you are sleeping fine, but if your sleep is shallow or fragmented, you are not getting the deep restorative stages your body actually needs. Your blood sugar can be suffering even if you feel like you slept okay. When people who have poor sleep habits start sleeping better, their insulin sensitivity often improves within days. It is one of the fastest changes you can make without changing anything you eat. Here is what actually works. Try to go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, including weekends. Even a small amount of consistency in your schedule trains your body's internal clock and improves the quality of your sleep over time. Keep your bedroom as dark as possible. If outside light is an issue, blackout curtains or a simple sleep mask can make a real difference. If noise is a problem, earplugs or a white noise machine can help more than people expect. And cut off caffeine by early afternoon. A lot of people are absolutely convinced that the evening cup of coffee does not affect them because they fall asleep just fine. But caffeine disrupts the deeper stages of sleep even when you do not feel it. You are not getting the rest your body needs. Over time, that adds up in your blood sugar numbers. Number 6, manage your stress levels. This one is very real, and if you have diabetes, you may have already noticed it yourself. When you're going through a stressful period, your blood sugar can shoot up even if you are eating exactly the same way you always do. That is because stress hormones including cortisol, adrenaline, and glucagon tell your liver to release stored sugar into your bloodstream. Your body thinks it is in danger and it is preparing for action. That made a lot of sense thousands of years ago when stress usually meant something physical, like running from a threat. But today, most of our stress is mental and emotional, and that sugar dump happens anyway, whether you need it or not. Chronic stress is especially damaging because it keeps those hormone levels elevated around the clock. Your insulin key is never quite working right, and on top of that, sustained high cortisol leads to fat accumulation in the belly and the liver, which directly worsens insulin resistance. It becomes a cycle that feeds itself. Here is something simple that genuinely helps. Try the 4-7-8 breathing technique. Breathe in for 4 counts, hold your breath for 7 counts, then exhale slowly for 8 counts. It sounds almost too easy, but it activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and digest side of your body, and it can bring your stress response down noticeably within just a few minutes. Another habit that research consistently supports is writing down a few things you are grateful for at the end of each day. Not a long journal entry, just a few lines. This practice has been shown to lower cortisol levels and improve mood, and over time it shifts your nervous system out of a state of chronic low-grade stress. And exercise, which is the very next tip, is one of the most effective stress relievers that exists. Number 5, move your body and do it consistently. Exercise is one of the most powerful tools you have for managing blood sugar, and the reason goes deeper than most people think. When your muscles are actively working, they pull glucose directly out of your bloodstream. They do not even need insulin to do it. So every time you move, you are essentially giving your blood sugar a direct pathway out of your blood and into your muscles, bypassing the whole insulin resistance problem entirely. The effects happen fast. A single workout can improve your insulin sensitivity for anywhere from 2 hours to 2 full days, depending on how hard you worked and what type of exercise you did. And the long-term benefits build up over time. The more muscle you carry, the more glucose your body burns around the clock, even when you are sitting still. Now, a lot of people hear the word exercise and immediately picture a gym or some kind of intense program. That is not what I am talking about. Walking counts, swimming counts, water aerobics counts, riding a stationary bike counts. Even just doing a few minutes of movement in your living room counts. One piece of research that I find really compelling showed that walking for 15 minutes after a meal led to meaningfully better blood sugar levels compared to sitting down after eating. And here is the part that should give everyone hope. Even 2 minutes of light movement had a measurable effect. 2 minutes. So if you are not doing anything right now, start there. A short walk after lunch. That is it. That is the whole commitment to start. Build from there. If you can get to 150 minutes of moderate activity per week, that is the amount that research consistently shows produces real, lasting improvements. That is about 20 minutes a day. You can do that walking around your neighborhood, swimming at your local pool, or moving to some music in your kitchen. Number 4. Eat more fiber. If you were to ask which single dietary change has the most consistent, well-supported evidence behind it for improving blood sugar, the answer is fiber. Not a specific supplement, not a trendy ingredient, just fiber. Soluble fiber, which is the type found in oatmeal, apples, pears, beans, lentils, and certain vegetables, does something really remarkable in your digestive system. It dissolves in water and forms a thick gel. That gel coats the inside of your intestines and dramatically slows down how fast sugar is absorbed into your blood. Instead of your blood sugar spiking sharply after a meal, it rises gradually. Your pancreas does not have to work nearly as hard, and your insulin has time to actually do its job properly. One study found that adding just 2 tablespoons of soluble fiber before meals reduced blood sugar by 13% after breakfast, by 65% after lunch, and by 41% after dinner. Those are numbers that many medications would be proud of, and that was from fiber, from food. Aim for at least 35 grams of fiber per day. That sounds like a lot, but it adds up faster than you think. A bowl of oatmeal in the morning, an apple with the skin on as a snack, a cup of beans or lentils at lunch or dinner. Broccoli, spinach, Brussels sprouts, avocado. All of these are excellent sources. One of the easiest additions you can make is chia seeds. They have almost no flavor on their own, they dissolve into yogurt, oatmeal or smoothies without changing the taste, and they are one of the richest sources of soluble fiber available. A couple of tablespoons a day goes a long way. Number 3. Cut back on refined carbohydrates and added sugar. White bread, white rice, regular pasta, crackers, cookies, sugary sodas, fruit juices, and anything made with processed flour or a lot of added sugar. These foods break down into glucose almost immediately after you eat them. Your blood sugar spikes hard and fast, your pancreas scrambles to respond, and over time your cells become more and more resistant to the insulin that keeps getting released in response. Reducing these foods does not mean you can never enjoy them again. It means you stop making them the foundation of every meal. And when you do eat carbohydrates, a few simple strategies make a real difference. Eat smaller amounts. Pair carbs with fiber and protein, which slow down absorption. Choose lower glycemic options when possible. For example, sweet potatoes release sugar into the bloodstream much more slowly than regular white potatoes. Brown rice is slower than white rice. Whole grain bread is better than white bread. These are not dramatic sacrifices. They are small swaps that add up over time. One thing worth watching closely on ingredient labels is high fructose corn syrup. It shows up in a surprising number of packaged and processed foods, from bread to condiments to canned goods. Multiple studies have linked regular consumption of high fructose corn syrup to increased insulin resistance and fatty liver disease, which makes insulin resistance even worse. Reading labels is a simple habit that can genuinely protect you. And one important caution: if you cut back on carbs and replace them with unhealthy fats, processed meats, and fried foods, you may be making things worse rather than better. The goal is not just fewer carbs. The goal is more whole, real food prepared at home as often as possible. Number 2, add certain powerful ingredients to your routine. This one surprises a lot of people because it involves foods and spices they may already have in their kitchen. Cinnamon, ginger, turmeric, garlic, and fenugreek all contain natural compounds that research has shown can improve how your body processes glucose and reduce the kind of low-grade inflammation that drives insulin resistance. You do not need to take them as supplements or in large amounts. Adding cinnamon to your oatmeal, turmeric to soups and stews, fresh ginger to tea or stir fries, and garlic generously to whatever you are cooking are all simple, enjoyable ways to get these benefits regularly. Fresh herbs like rosemary, basil, and oregano are also worth using freely. They contain antioxidants that help reduce inflammation and support healthy metabolism. 2 drinks deserve a specific mention here. Apple cider vinegar, taken in a small amount diluted in water before a meal, has been shown in several studies to improve insulin sensitivity and slow the rate at which your stomach empties into your intestines. That slower emptying means a gentler rise in blood sugar after you eat. Start with just 1 teaspoon in a glass of water before your largest meal and see how you respond. Green tea is the other one. It contains a compound called EGCG that has been shown in multiple studies to improve insulin sensitivity and help lower fasting blood sugar over time. If you are a coffee drinker, consider swapping one of your afternoon cups for green tea. Your sleep and your blood sugar may both benefit. Number 1. The most important tip of all. Lose the excess weight, especially around your midsection. If you are carrying extra weight, and particularly if that weight sits around your belly, this is the single most impactful thing you can address. Belly fat, which doctors call visceral fat, is not just an appearance issue, it is biologically active. It releases inflammatory compounds that directly interfere with how your cells respond to insulin. It is one of the most powerful drivers of insulin resistance in the human body. The relationship between excess weight and insulin resistance is so strong that in the past, when far fewer Americans were overweight, diabetes was dramatically less common. Look at photographs from the 1970s and 80s. The difference in body composition across the population is striking, and the rates of diabetes at that time were a fraction of what they are today. Losing even 5 to 10% of your body weight can produce dramatic improvements in insulin sensitivity. Your blood sugar can normalize, your blood pressure often improves, your sleep gets better, your energy comes back, your joints feel better, and your pancreas finally gets a chance to rest after years of overworking. Here is something that does not get discussed nearly enough. When your body is producing excess insulin year after year to try to keep up with insulin resistance, it raises your risk of developing certain serious diseases, including cancers of the pancreas, colon, breast, kidney, and uterus. This is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to help you understand that what is happening with your blood sugar and your weight is not just about numbers on a lab report. It is about your long-term health and your quality of life. The beautiful thing is that small, consistent changes produce real results. You do not need to overhaul your entire life in a single week. A short walk after lunch, more fiber at breakfast, cutting out the afternoon soda, going to bed 30 minutes earlier, swapping white bread for a whole grain option a few times a week. Each of these changes by itself might seem modest, but together over weeks and months, they create a genuine shift in how your body functions. Your cells start responding to insulin again. Your blood sugar levels out. You feel better, you move more easily, and the momentum builds on itself. Many people who were told they had prediabetes and made these kinds of changes have brought their numbers back into the normal range. Some people with type 2 diabetes have reduced or eliminated their need for medication under their doctor's supervision. That is how powerful this is when you commit to it consistently. Try even 2 or 3 of these tips starting this week and see what happens. I am willing to bet you will notice a difference. If this video was helpful to you, please share it with someone you love. A spouse, a sibling, a friend from church, anyone who is dealing with blood sugar issues or who you think might be headed in that direction. You could be doing them one of the kindest favors imaginable, and leave a comment below telling me which of these 7 tips you are going to start with. I would love to hear from you, and I read every single comment.